Welcome to episode 74 of the Mile 20 podcast where epic shit happens. My name is Lori and I'm here with my bestie.
Laura. Hey, Laura.
Hey. um, well, we're coming to you from two different locations. And for once, I'm home and you're not.
I
Where
am
are
not.
you?
I'm actually in right now in right outside of Dennis, Massachusetts, which is on Cape Cod. We were here
Nice.
for a family well, we'll call them family. It's friends of ours, and their daughter got married yesterday. Beautiful wedding, and we are still in Cape Cod for an extra day. In fact, this podcast is the only thing waiting between me and a nice little bonfire with friends.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So, what else have you been doing? Have you done anything fun or eaten anywhere cool while you've been up there?
Oh my gosh. So we got up here on Thursday, and Jim and I have just been drowning in oysters. Just that's all I have to say. Like we just been drowning in oysters, and today we had just incredible oysters, lots of well fleets. It's just I don't know. The seafood here is just absolutely incredible. Today I had an absolutely just delicious lobster bisque. It's just been absolutely wonderful. So we and Jim's been doing a lot of fishing. We've actually been staying in Yarmouth, Massachusetts, so a little further south of Dennis. So we're like in the southern part of Cape Cod. And Dennis, actually, we ran through it when we did the Ragnar here.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So we had the wedding on Sunday, which was yesterday, and my sister and brother-in-law and nephew came on late on Thursday night, and so they were here for a couple of days, which was super nice. So we got to hang out with them, a bit, and yeah, it's just been really really great. The friends that we are with. It's an extended group of friends, and they're all like buddies of Jim's from high school, which is
That's so
awesome.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got to meet some of them at Maddie's
Yes.
wedding and they were a very good time. I
Yes.
enjoyed
Yes.
meeting all of them. Good
Yes.
people.
Girl, I woke up this morning and my feet were like jet black from dancing in bare feet. Yes.
Wonderful. Perfect.
Yes, it was great. It was great. And
A little gross
mm,
though, I will
oh, let
say.
me let me gross you out more. So because your friend here was dancing so incredibly hard at the wedding, you know how I suffer from incontinence?
Uh-huh.
That's all I have to say about that.
Good
Yep.
times.
Yep.
Good times.
So these are things now at 55 years old that we need to contemplate that, when we're jumping up and down and dancing, you're like, fuck.
There were consequences sometimes.
Big consequences, yes.
But you
So,
had fun.
hey, you know what? We all laughed about it at breakfast and everybody's like, you handled it so gracefully. I was like, this shit happens. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm 55. I'm like, whatever. I'm still out there
Pee,
dancing, damn
pee,
it.
pee or poo, the shit
Yeah.
or pee, whatever.
Yeah.
It all
Yeah.
happens.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what have you been up to?
Well, this weekend turned out a little unexpected.
Oh.
Yeah, like the Philly Ale Festival was supposed to be on Saturday, which was the reason I came home from the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And it wound up getting canceled because we were supposed to get a line of severe thunderstorms coming
Oh,
through,
bummer.
plus the smoke, the Canadian wildfire smoke that's been blanketing our area. So they have postponed it to August 22nd. So that'll be fun still.
Yeah.
But it's like in the middle of a weekend, my one weekend that I have at the Poconos. So that'll suck. But I'll just come home and then go back again for that because at least it's closer. It's not coming
Yeah.
home for it's not a 6.5 hour drive there. So
Well,
that's,
better that they went and postponed it versus you go down there and you're there for like a half hour and then they go
yeah,
and cancel it while you're there because that
I
would
agree.
really
Yeah.
be awful.
They made the call earlier in the day, but it was nice. Like on Friday, all the kids, DJ came home and spent the night. So we had all the kids here and, we
Nice.
ordered out, played games, and it was a good time because, when you have them all together, it's a rarity
Yeah.
as they get older. So
Yep.
you just appreciate those moments. And then Maggie and Connor yesterday invited us over to their house for the World Cup game, and they made potatoes bravas and empanadas for Argentina and Spain. And so we had snacks, we watched the game, and then Maggie and I met my dad and stepmom over at Lock 29, which is in Phoenixville, kind of a cute little bar slash restaurant that's on the water. Um, right across the bridge. And we had a lovely dinner and it was fun. So it was kind of just like a relaxing home weekend, touching
That's
bases with
nice.
everybody. And yeah, so it's been very low key, which I appreciate.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you need the low key. I thought maybe next weekend was going to be low key for me, and it's not. We're because as you know, Maddie and Matthew, so my daughter and son-in-law, they just bought their first home, and so we rented the U-Haul truck that's going to get all of their shit out of our house. I'm sending the
Woohoo!
Barbie dolls. I'm sending the American Girl dolls. I'm sending all of her college shit, all of her books. Like, I'm going to have so much storage space. I'm not going to know what to do with myself.
That's all right. I know you'll have that perfectly organized in no time.
It
It'll
will
be
be.
yes.
It absolutely will be. So
You
I
will
am
find ways to have that functioning as good space for usage somehow.
it will and you know, but I'm excited for them because you
Yeah,
know they
that's a
the
big
other
deal.
day, yeah, the other day they were like, we hung our paper towel holder in the kitchen. I was like you're set, you
That's it.
know.
You don't have to do anything else. Check.
No, no, but it's that's good stuff. You know, you remember when you landed your first house and you know, you feel like a real grown up at that point in time, you know, where you're
Yeah.
like, holy cow, you know, like I'm responsible for this thing now.
It's kind
So,
of like when, like, yeah, you get married and everything, and then there's like really like the honeymoon phase, so to
huh?
speak. But then, like, when you start having the responsibilities, like the house is like the first big responsibility. It's like now shit gets real.
That's totally it. That's totally it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I would imagine that we're going to get, you know, a gazillion phone calls and texts about things and stuff, but I love it. Like that's like the next step in our evolution as parents and support and coaches for them. And the cool thing is that Matthew's parents, Rhonda and Harry, are actually going to come up next Saturday after their moving van comes and delivers everything to help like unpack and stuff as well. So we're
Oh,
going to
that's
all like, yeah,
fantastic.
we're all going to collectively kind of like, you know, jump on the hive, like, you know, a bunch of like ants and like, you know, help them with
Yeah.
stuff. So, but they've
Oh,
been
you're gonna
gradually,
put that there? Are you sure that's a good idea? They're probably gonna be like,
uh,
can everybody just go away?
they did set up their kitchen already though. So
Okay,
so
smart,
yeah,
smart.
so she was very emphatic, Maddie was, about her and Matthew doing the kitchen together.
Yes.
So that way then it's like, you know, there's no excuse you don't know where something belongs.
Oh, hell. I've been in this house for over 10 years and I still have Dave go put shit in the wrong spot or where does this go? And I'm like, are you fucking for real right now?
I
Like, be for
know.
real. You have
I
no
know.
idea.
Well, at least he asks when Jim unloads stuff out of the dishwasher and he doesn't know where it goes. He puts it into what we call the fairy holding spot. And the fairy holding spot is on the countertop in like a spot where it just sits there. And like miraculously, like within maybe sometimes an hour, even a couple of hours, it miraculously, like the kitchen fairy comes and takes it and puts it into its rightful place.
Well, of course. It's just,
It's magical,
it is magical. I
you
wonder who
know?
does that. It's
I
crazy.
don't I don't know. I really want to meet that person because they know where everything is, like where it belongs in the kitchen. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
It'll
think
be
that's
interesting as we finish up our kitchen because we're going through a kitchen renovation right now. And it'll be interesting as, you know, we put things back. I mean, as you know, we kind of really changed around the puzzle pieces, so to speak, in the kitchen and where cabinets are and so forth. And so things where I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to keep opening up this one cabinet. I know it, to get like, you know, pots and pans, and
oh
it's not going to
yeah.
have pots and pans there. Right.
You're gonna have to retrain your whole brain on
Yeah.
where
We're
things
talking like
are.
15 years of like brain training, and it has to
Yes,
be undone like completely. So,
absolutely.
so I think I'm going to pull a Maddie. I'm learning from my daughter, where I'm going to have Jim participate with me, and we're going to gain agreement in terms of where certain things go. And if he gives poor suggestions, I will coach him appropriately, but we will go and make it seem like it is both of our plan.
That's shh, don't tell
Shh.
Jim.
It's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
We'll see if he
He'll
listens.
he'll listen to this and nod. Yeah, it's like, yes, yes, that is what 33 years of marriage looks like.
There you go. For
Yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah. Now we do have some running news, which is absolutely incredible. You want to share the running news that we have?
Yeah, it's super
This is
cool.
killer. Oh my God.
Josh Kerr is the man for the record books. The 1 mile fastest time ever has been smashed by Josh Kerr, running a mile in 3 minutes, 42.66 seconds. I just can't. I just can't. I can't even fathom what that feels like.
Did
And
you
he
see?
looked like it was
I
effortless.
know. Did you see pictures of him online? I was like, dude, that guy has like a muscle on top of muscle on top of muscle, like zero
Yes.
body fat. I was like, oh my God, like just a complete specimen. And
Yeah.
just congratulations to him. That's
Yeah.
absolutely. I was in awe when I saw that.
And I can remember, wasn't it like the book Unbroken? But that Lewis, whatever his name was in Unbroken, like the whole thing was chasing a sub 4 minute mile.
Yes,
Like that stood for so long. And just to think that people are running 3:42, that's just crazy.
it
Anyway,
is. But again,
digress.
we keep going back to humans are just getting stronger and faster and more fit and it is just incredible.
And the
Absolutely
gear,
incredible.
like
The
he
gear.
also had like special made shoes that said that made him feel like he was running downhill.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine the shoes that he was wearing because they were specifically made for him. So the
Yeah.
shoes, I'm sure, had quite a bit to do with it as well.
Yeah. I would not want
I
to feel
mean,
like
not
I'm
discrediting his
no. No.
incredible athleticism. I'm not discrediting that at all. I'm just saying it helps a little, just a
Yeah.
little. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe instead of a 3:42.66, if he had normal shoes, it was like a 3:42.89.
Well, like, well, look, like it goes back to, like when we had, our running back, right, for the Eagles, right, and he was ready to go and break, the rushing, record for a season, and he pulled back on it, right, because the teams now play more games per season, right?
Yeah,
So it would always be this thing, well, the only reason why you broke it, like you're the lead rusher ever, but right. And I would
yeah,
imagine that like there's definitely like that, I don't want to call it a stigma, but like that, it's like that overarching, but,
yeah.
um, so I don't know. It's just more power to this guy, man, because like that is just
It's fast.
absolutely insane.
It's
Absolutely
fast.
insane. It's fast.
It's
Yeah.
so fast.
Yeah. 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 So congratulations to him.
Yeah, that's been exciting.
Yeah.
So, this episode, we have an inside scoop. We are going to be interviewing Joyce Forier or Forier, sorry. And we're excited to get to talk to her. She is the founder of Calico Racing out of Nevada, and she's been at it for almost 20 years. And I'm just kind of excited to get a few moments to talk to her and pick her brain. And um, I did take a look. She did recently. We got our emails for the ET Full Moon Marathon. So we're running that not this weekend, but next on August 1st ish, because it's a midnight marathon. It starts at
It
midnight.
starts at midnight.
Yeah. So you run through the night. But the course has changed. We actually are going the op yeah, it's slightly different, but similar. So it used to start at this random black mailbox
It's called the
down
Black Mailbox in
yes,
Rachel, Nevada
in Rachel, Nevada. It's people leave weird shit in the black mailbox to give
for
delivered to the
aliens.
aliens. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Anyway, there's a black mailbox on the extraterrestrial highway, and you used to run there all the way out and up a hill towards actual Rachel, Nevada, and then you'd run back. Now you start closer. You start almost at the little alien. There's like a little general store there, and you run, instead of going towards the black mailbox, you run to the left. But there's still a
Oh,
big hill that you go up and back, but it's a part of the road we didn't run, nor did we really drive.
oh,
So it's a little bit different. And I think it's new to this year. So I'm just curious to pick her brain when we get her on the line.
interesting. Like, I guess that'll feel like an entirely different race to us then.
It will, yeah. Well, except for the fact that the first time we ran it, it was dark, and the second time we're running it, it's
Be
dark,
dark.
and there's still a big hill in the middle. So maybe it feels different. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, yeah.
Jury's out.
I know the one thing that we struggled a little bit with the last time we did this is that it's like it's high desert. It's high desert, right? So it's, got some elevation to it. And I know that when I hit elevation and I'm not fully acclimated, because we had just gotten there like that afternoon,
Yeah,
like drive because we drove there. We're flying there this go around. Thank God. Um,
that
but
was the best trip ever.
I
Stop
know
it.
it totally was. It totally was. No regrets. No regrets. But it's great that we have a couple of days that we get there before the race, so that way there's a little bit of acclimation to the elevation.
Yeah.
Because I struggle with when I just hop into elevation, I poop, and then I poop some more. So
Yeah, if I do remember correctly, we did have prolific issues with bathroom needing to use the bathroom a lot,
yes, yes, and there's no porta
frequently.
johns. There's no
Quite
porta johns. Yes.
well, I think there are now,
Oh, that would be great. That
I
would be
think we were also dealing with the fact that we didn't want to be in a porta john because we were a little weirded out because of
That's
COVID
true.
as well.
That's
So
true.
I think they had porta johns. We just opted out of them. So you
That's true.
you
Okay.
deduct your own conclusions from that.
I will. Yes.
It was so bad.
We left some DNA in Nevada.
That's for damn sure.
Uh,
Anyhow,
all right. Well,
well,
I'm looking forward to the interview with Joyce
all
coming up
right,
here in a sec.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
We're excited to welcome Joyce Forier, the founder and driving force behind Calico Running. What started as a passion for running and community has grown into a company known for creating memorable race experiences, supporting runners of all abilities, and bringing people together through the sport. Joyce has built Calico Running around the idea that races should be more than just finish lines. They should be celebrations of movement, connection, and personal achievement. From first time 5K runners to seasoned marathoners, she has helped create events that are welcoming, well organized, and deeply rooted in community spirit. Joyce, welcome to the Mile 20 podcast.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Sure.
Yeah, we're so glad that you are with us. So before we dive into Calico, how did you even start running? Where did this all begin for you?
So it actually started out, it was just a bucket list, everyone has that things to do before they die kind of bucket list. And running a marathon was on mine as a lot of people's, just like traveling to Europe and Africa and so forth. And I had just moved to Las Vegas in August of '01, just before 9/11, like a
Oh,
month
wow.
before 9/11. At the time, I was married to a pilot, so it obviously struck us really hard.
Oh, wow.
Um, but just looking for something to kind of focus on other than the attacks on the World Trade Center, and stumbled onto the Las Vegas Marathon. Uh, this is, back so long ago. Um, but it was slated for February 3rd of 2002. And I was like, just kind of caught my eye. And at the time, it was like mail-in entry forms.
Oh my
Right.
gosh, I
And
remember those days.
yeah, remember those? And I just kind of looked up like, well, I don't know. I mean, like I wasn't a runner at all. I wasn't running 5Ks or anything like that. And I looked, well, how do you train for a marathon? And I stumbled onto Hal Higdon's beginner marathon program. And lo and behold, it was an 18-week training program, and I was right at 18 weeks out. I'm like, all right, well, give it a go. So ran my first marathon. It was that iteration of the Las Vegas Marathon doesn't exist anymore, but I ran that, and then thinking it was like one and done, you do the bucket list item and then like you're
Hmm.
moving on. So I finish up, and just kind of that feeling of like, well, what's next? And
Right.
within probably a week, how we runners are, within a week or so, I found another race and ran the Chicago Marathon that same year, and then qualified for Boston on my third attempt.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
so
Wow.
just kind of
Congratulations.
cute. So just kind of before you know it, it started out like two a year, like a spring and a fall, and then after a handful, I got into Ironman and then some ultra running, and I was on a I was returning from an ultra marathon up in Moab. Really beautiful, just peaceful canyons, driving back through like Bryce and Zion and
Nice.
Canyonlands, and just like,
Gorgeous
really at peace
country.
with like nature and all this stuff. And so, like, the week later, I was on a training run out at Red Rock Canyon, and just kind of had that random thought, I wonder what it takes to put on a marathon here. So that Monday, I pick up the phone and I just called. And at the time, this is back in March of 2007. And at the time, they didn't even have like a process. They didn't have like a outdoor recreation planner or anything. And they're like, well, I really don't know what it takes. Let's kind of figure it out together. So that was the Red Rock Canyon Marathon was actually the first one that I fully conceptualized.
Does
But
that
because of
still
the way that
exist? Do you still
it,
run that one?
I do, so
Oh,
it'll be
wow.
our 20th year in January. So
Mm.
yeah,
Very
Lori.
that's
interesting.
actually the birthplace of Calico Racing was because inside of Red Rock Canyon, there's a couple of trailheads called Calico Hills 1, Calico Hills 2, Calico Tank,
Oh,
and
I
I
was
have a
I was going to
Calico
ask
Cup.
that where the
So
name come from. That's
that's where the
awesome.
name comes from. And
I
actually
love
the
that.
colors as well. So like our logo of the cat, where it's kind of the beige and the burnt orange, that's the colors of the sandstone out at Red Rock Canyon.
Oh, I love
So
that.
I actually
yeah,
was
so
just
that's
out there with my mom in February for her birthday, and she loves Vegas. I am not a Vegas girl. I'm like, get me the hell out of here. I'm like, where can I go to do a run? And I went out to
yeah.
Red Rock Canyon and ran, a little short trail there. And I was like, gosh, this
Awesome.
is so beautiful. Like, why did I not know this was here before?
Well, come to our race in January. So
I know, Lord.
January 23rd.
We don't have another one slated for Colorado yet, right? I know we have our Januaries, but that
Well,
I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no, no. This is Nevada.
Yeah, we're Nevada. So Red Rock Canyon, not
Oh,
Red Rocks
not red.
Amphitheater.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad. My bad.
Yeah, no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
so
This is Nevada.
Wait.
right. So all of our races are in Las Vegas, in or around Las Vegas.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So, what was the biggest challenge? I mean, other than like there was like really no footprint, for like no equation, right? Like that was laid out for you in terms of like starting your own running company, starting your own race. I mean, what were the biggest challenges? Just get everything started.
I mean, it was like literally inventing the wheel. Now
Wow.
here I am 20 years, 19 years later, and I have so many processes, and I've learned so much over the 19 years, and this will be my ET in 2 weeks will be my 179th race directed. So,
Wow,
Wow.
so
girl. Woo.
That's
That's incredible.
yeah.
amazing.
So, you just learn a lot, but at the time, the industry was so different. Like there really weren't as many of my niche kind of races that existed. It used to be, kind of intimidating. You felt like, well, if it's all these big corporate players, and
Yeah.
I'm just like little old me, And I don't know, I just maybe it's naivety of being 32 at the time and like, well, what does it take, So, and I mean the guy was welcoming, the guy that poor guy that got assigned to me at Red Rock Canyon to figure it out with me. And we just kind of went through the process together. There's environmental studies because it is an area of concrete area of environmental concern. So
Yeah.
it's a protected conservation area.
Hmm.
So that does present a lot of obstacles. And then with Red Rock Canyon as well, it is a one-way scenic drive, which is 13 miles. So things to consider when you're setting up. If you miss something and you make a mistake, you can't go backwards. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, oh, shoot, I forgot that half a mile back. So, but the
Absolutely.
process, I mean, I had been a runner at that point for 5 years. And probably around then I had done maybe 15 or so marathons as a participant and like a handful of Ironmans. So
Right.
with that one though, the process was about a year out in order to execute the first one. So the first one at Red Rock Canyon was in March of 08. And I'm like, well, geez, it just got me thinking, what other venues are there in the Vegas area other than Red Rock Canyon to put on races? And then, so at the time, I was doing a lot of Ironman distance racing, and I used to ride my bike out at Lake Mead all the time. And I was like,
Oh
gosh,
yeah.
it's so beautiful riding my bike out here, but why does nobody run out here? So it turned out that my very first race that I directed was actually out at Lake Mead. So that was June 30th of 2007, called Running with the Devil. So it was an extreme heat race.
My God, that
So
sounds
extreme heat
awful.
race kind of created as a like a test of if people wanted to experiment with a race like Badwater, but a little bit shorter distance. So um, and then, kind of kept looking, and I was scouring the state of Nevada for interesting, beautiful places, and I stumbled on the extraterrestrial highway, and I was like, what in the world is that? Like, it's federally designated as the extraterrestrial highway.
It's
So,
so
of course,
cool.
I'm like, I just get this crazy idea. I'm like, well, it's going to be like alien themed and like, let's do it at midnight. And my friend Gina thought I had completely lost it. She thought it was the stupidest thing ever. And it turned out it was like one of my most successful races over the years. Like we've gotten up to around 996 was our highest year.
Oh, that's
Never quite
Wow.
incredible.
broke the thousand.
Well, I will tell you, like your crazy friends say, your friends saying that you were crazy for putting it on it. So when Lori said, "Hey, do you want to run this race out in the middle of like the desert at midnight on the extraterrestrial highway?" I was like, "You're crazy. Yes, I want to do that with you." You know,
It's a
so
horrible idea. When do I do it?
yes, that is exactly it. So you definitely baited a bunch of folks appropriately. Nice.
Absolutely. So
Well,
like
the other thing that's interesting about it is, if you think back to 2007 when our first year was, I mean, this predated all of there was this proliferation of like what I call kind of just kitschy kind of, honestly, I call them bullshit races, but like, the glow run, the bubble run, the color
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 run, the
runs,
runs.
neon
yeah.
Yeah.
light
Yeah.
run, just all these like kind of contrived ways to make something different and pretty to look at and fun and here we were like literally on the extraterrestrial highway. It's the hotbed of alien activity, and the glow sticks and all the glow bracelets and stuff and headlamps, they were a necessity of the permit. So it wasn't like we had all this neon and glow stuff just for giggles. Like it was a necessity.
Yeah.
So
So have you personally ever seen anything out there in all your years of race directing? Because you're sitting in one spot, I'm sure.
oh, like during the race directing.
Yeah, like
So
while you're out there on the on the highway and you're out there, have you ever seen it? Because that race has been around for a while. Like what year running is it now this year?
this is 20 years.
Oh,
Oh, awesome.
this is the 20th year? Yes.
Yeah.
I love the special years.
Yeah, and we never missed a beat. I mean, as you know, you did it yourself in August of 2020. So even during COVID, we were actually one of the first events that took place, at least for me, like when COVID hit in 2020, we had three races that ended up having to be canceled, but
Hmm.
the ET race was the first one that we resumed back with. And then, going forward, like all the various protocols with masking and so on and so forth.
Well, you did a brilliant job. We really
Absolutely.
commended you on our podcast about it. The way you had just an open flow start. Like it was just a smart way of accommodating the runners and allowing the runners to be out there and do it. Like if we felt comfortable traveling, just let us run. And I felt like just that open flow start was brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, that was an interesting year because it wasn't until, gosh, like 1 to 2 weeks out from race day. Like we had our permit through our permitting agency, but I don't know when you guys had registered for it, but it wasn't until like 1 or 2 weeks prior to that race that I got a call from the Little Alien, which had historically been our gathering area, like our finish line. And
Ah,
yeah, so 2020 in its original form was the way that we had done it since '07. Like the marathon should have started at the Black Mailbox and
Hmm.
then it finished at the Little Alien, where all of the shorter distances, all races finished there. And the Little
okay.
Alien reached out to me like 1 to 2 weeks before the race, and they're like, yeah, with all the scrutiny with COVID and all the regulations, they're like, we're just not comfortable to have people here, we're not allowing it. And
Oh,
even though like
wow.
our permit was allowing it,
Oh,
but the restaurant didn't want us down there. So
Ah.
so they kind of like threw this on me like very last minute. So sure enough, it was like back to the drawing board of like, well, I have the permit, but I can't be by
oh,
the
wow.
alien. So that's why it was the only year we ever did the out and back from the alien, the black mailbox like you guys
Oh my
did.
gosh. So Joyce, I will never
Oh.
forget when Lori and I went up the hill before the turnaround, right? When
Mhm.
we turned around, there were cop cars. There was a cop car that we saw like going, towards the finish line. And we were watching it go all the way down the road, all the way down the road. We're like, "Oh shit, dude, that's the freaking finish." Like we could see the finish and like it blew our minds. It absolutely blew our minds that we could see down the road for 13 miles.
Yeah,
The
that is
vastness
crazy.
of the desert. So,
So
Uh,
true.
yeah, yeah. So when Lori was just telling me before you hopped on the podcast that the course had changed from what we did in 2020, that then totally makes sense. You
Yeah.
giving us context.
So what was the evolution? So you did that 1 year, just the out and back from the black mailbox. So then what happened in 21 and then now what's changed for 2026?
so in 2021, we resumed what was the original course,
Okay.
and then in 22, just the logistics of that original course that was from '07 to 19, and then again in 2021, the logistics of it were extremely challenging. I
Yeah.
had three different start lines, four different start times that were like 20 miles apart. So for me, it was a lot of work
Mm.
to be present at all of those locations. And it was, um, plus the extra, it was an additional gathering area, additional parking area, additional area for busing and so forth. So it was like the moving circus, and I was like the
Hmm.
ringmaster, and it was chaos. I mean, it was so you look back on it, and there's just so many memories of like craziness. Like if anything retarded is going to happen, it's going to happen at ET. Like it's just nonsense happens at this race. And so after that, like I was just, some of the logistics just got a bit much. And like some of the busing companies, they really didn't love working that move because it's overnight for the drivers. And then
Hmm.
while the drivers were up there, they're also having to shuttle people back to cars. So I was just really trying to simplify it. And I was like, a lot of people seem to like that out and back format from the black mailbox. Why don't we do an out and back format from Rachel, like by the alien? Um, so kind of played around with the shape of the course. Like it used to be like a T for the marathon, and now it's just a straight out and back from Rachel. So we'll be starting and finishing near the Alien Cowpoke is what it's called. It's a little general store in the town of Rachel. So
I don't know how I don't remember the general store because we drove out there with a pop-up camper and I actually got one of the camping spots behind the little alien that I didn't realize didn't
Sorry.
come with a bathroom or anything. So it was really interesting, but I don't remember the general store, which I find odd because we did spend time there.
it's
I,
you
yeah.
could you could very easily miss it. It's tiny. And it's honestly, I don't know that I've ever seen it open. So
Well,
so I joke
I,
that the Alien Cowpoke, the general store, is across town in Rachel, and it's like town is 0.38 miles away.
Right. So another question, just so we can mentally prepare, because we were mentally prepared for the out and back with that the hill. What is that? Black Bear Pass or something that you would run up
Uh,
to, or we did.
Coyote Summit.
Coyote
Coyote
Summit.
Summit. Yeah.
Sorry, that was wrong. I read something completely wrong. So going the opposite direction, it looks like it's a similar profile. Is the elevation any different going out and back as it was that one year, the fluky 2020 year?
So versus 2020, you kind of ended up having to, because the top of Coyote Pass is like 10 miles. So you would have crested the top and come down off the back side of it and then
mhm.
had
Okay.
to climb up it a little, like,
I remember
because
that.
you would have
Yeah.
overshot the summit by 3 miles. So you
Yes.
kind of had to climb that steepest part twice, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yes.
So this way, it's quite flat actually until around mile 10-ish. And then it's fairly gradual of a climb from 10 to 13. And then you're just slightly down or flat to the finish. So this
I,
this version is actually a little bit easier.
I love
I
it.
will, I will gladly take that, Joyce. We just did the Mad Marathon in Vermont, last
I've done
weekend.
it. It's hard.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we were questioning our sanity after that, which by the way, I have to name drop one of my former classmates from West Point, Chuck Engel, told me to
Do you
go
know
and tell
Chuck?
you
Oh,
he was my classmate at West Point and he said to go and say hello to Joyce. So so
aw, I
I'm
love
giving,
Chuck. He's the
yep, I'm
best.
giving a shout out. Joyce,
Nice.
when you were forming your running company or your race company, right? And did you ever think like, back then and where you are right now that like you'd be like this entrepreneur that has had like so much success, in the running community? And I mean, honestly, like, when Lori and I again ran the ET race and we were like Calico Racing, like they put on a good show, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that was like we walked away from that and we've done oh god, this will be our 75th marathon. So, like we know a bad marathon, we know a good marathon. You guys put on a really, really good marathon. So like did you ever think that like, wow, this is going to be like something I'm going to be doing, 10, 20 years, from now? Or, I mean, what was your dream and kind of reflection, now on, everything that you've put together, for the space?
Yeah, it's interesting. I always knew that I had an entrepreneurial spirit. And prior to starting Calico Racing, like I had several business ideas over the years, but for one reason or another, I would rule them out.
Oh,
And when I thought of this one, like I wasn't at the time actively looking to be starting a business. It's kind of just accidentally stumbled into it. And as I thought through what it took, I'm like, it just suited me. It wasn't something like, opening a restaurant or a cafe, and which is like a bricks and mortar kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I knew I didn't have that temperament that needed to be physically present Monday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I liked that flexibility to be able to, as long as the work gets done, it doesn't matter if it's Sunday at midnight or Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning, just as long as the work gets done. Um, but I did also just was very nervous of, having a bricks and mortar that every month there's this lease that's due, and
Yes.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
say, having a large nut to crack every month just to financially make the bills. So I've operated the business like quite lean. It's I do everything. Like outside of when we have volunteers, I am everything. Like I don't have a marketing guy. I am the race organizer. I do the website, I do the marketing, I do the porty potty ordering, the
I love
buses, you
it.
name it. Like it's like literally just me. So, um,
But you know
that's been able.
exactly the product you're putting out because you're in charge of all of it. So
Hmm.
like in a way it's kind of probably nice on your mind is at ease going into these events because you've already checked all the boxes and you know what you're doing and you know it's got been done.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have made it a lot easier on myself over the years of just really take like I do a debrief with myself after each race, and I just memorialize those notes of like, this is when I left the house, this is anything out of the ordinary that when I look back the next year I go back and read my notes and say like, okay, what do I need to refresh my mind of like little tweaks of like, okay, this could have been a little better, maybe let's try doing this. Or
Yeah.
um, and then over the years, I've had some wonderful volunteers that have helped, and they come and go. You'll have volunteers that are with you for years, and eventually they move or something happens. But we have a really solid crew of, it's a small crew, but but they're super dedicated, and they've been out a number of years in a row now.
That's
So, so, so that would be my just a follow-up question. So, when you are putting on a race, right? The ET race, I mean, it for our listeners, I mean, y'all, it is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we're
logistics are probably a little more difficult than on a
yeah,
normal
yeah.
marathon.
So
Yeah.
Joyce, how do you find the volunteers for that? Do they come from the local area, or are they folks that from like Vegas or the greater surrounding area? Like where do they come from?
Begging, pleading, negotiating.
Yeah, because it starts at midnight too. Because you're not gonna sleep that night.
Well, I never do.
Yeah.
So right now, so I got married 3 years ago. So he's a little new to the thing. I used to have somebody else that helped for probably 10 years, but now that it's my husband and I that'll drive up, and we set the course throughout the day. And then he's his role is, by the time the race starts, he needs to be sleeping. And so, I take the driving very seriously
Yeah.
because there's no way that I'm sleeping. So, I'm up running the show, and so it's a
Hmm.
guaranteed all-nighter for me Saturday night through the race. So at least then come morning, he'll come back out at around 6 in the morning, and at least he's a rested driver so
Great.
that we
Yeah.
can we can clean up, and then he as a rested driver can safely get us back to Vegas. I take it very seriously. So but then by the time we get home, like we're getting back to Vegas cleaned up by around 2 in the afternoon, but we still have to unload the truck and return it that same day.
Oh
Oh,
no.
By
yeah.
Sunday night, I'm just like a zombie.
Like put a fork in me.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but however, you have provided by your hard work and your sleep deprivation, you have really provided an amazing experience for thousands of runners over 20 years. That's pretty
Thank you.
phenomenal. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
So, if somebody was to come, just to go off topic for a minute, if somebody was to go to Vegas and like they wanted to go on a running adventure, I know Red Rock Canyon, but is there any other places that you can recommend that you would want to send people if they were out there running?
Yeah, I mean, Red Rock Canyon is obviously gorgeous. I mean, it depends if people are paved runners or trail runners. Red Rock has both. Um, Lake Mead is beautiful to run. They have paved trails, and
Hmm.
there's also the historic railroad trail. It goes through
Hmm.
some man-made tunnels that was a former train track that brought supplies out to the Hoover Dam.
Oh,
So Lake
nice.
Mead's really, yeah, really beautiful for running events out at Lake Mead. I mean, people like going just running along the strip. I mean, I think it'd be horrible dodging all those people, but but a lot of people love to run up and down the strip. Valley of Fire is gorgeous. It's a little bit further away, about an hour and 20 minutes, but I think Valley of Fire is the most beautiful place in the world. So,
It is
Oh,
pretty. I went out there for the first time this February. We got stuck in Vegas
mm,
because we had a snowstorm come through Philadelphia, so our flight got delayed. So we actually wound up like leaving 2 days later, and we spent an entire afternoon out at Valley of Fire. And I'm like, had I known that this existed before, I'd have been out here a lot sooner.
yeah,
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 yeah.
it's
No,
beautiful.
and Jim and I have been there as well. We rented a convertible. So we were out in Vegas, and we needed a break from just the strip. So we had rented a convertible and went out there, and we both got fried. It's just like the one thing I remember about that. So Joyce, so this is my follow-up question to that. So, desert running, right? I mean, where we're running the marathon, the ET marathon, it's a little bit of a higher elevation. It's definitely drier, definitely different, in terms of, where other people are coming from, like the rest of the United States. So do you have any like helpful tips? So if we have any listeners who are like, oh, I'm contemplating doing a desert run at some point in time, like, oh, you guys are like totally interesting me in going and doing this. Do you have any tips, for runners as they're taking on a desert run?
Sure. I mean, well, there's definitely things that are very specific to ET versus just any desert
Hmm.
run. And it does um, really depend on the time of year that you're running because, as you've been here in February, you said very different conditions than
Yes.
running in August. So I'll tailor it to ET since that's the race that we're talking about. Um, Regardless of which month, I will say because of the dryness, definitely start hydrating the week before. So, and once you're into the race, I always say start hydrating and fueling early and often because
Hmm.
what you do at mile one will dictate if you even make it to mile 21. So just staying on top of that hydration because it is a more arid environment here. Very, very important. Um, Lip balm.
Oh,
So
Oh,
yes.
people,
yes.
yeah, so people's lips always get super dried out. So lip balm, but preferably more of like one that presses up like a liquid tube kind of thing instead of like the chapstick kind of tube because they will melt in your car. Um, so
Yes.
lip balm. A lot of people's noses will kind of get a little dried out. Just normal. It's just normal with being in the arid environment.
Yeah.
Um, with ET, obviously there's no sun, and the cool thing is that it actually gets cooler as you run instead of warmer, which is opposite of most races. And
Yes.
at the finish line, it's actually cold. Like I'll generally be shivering for like close to 2 hours before I finally have a minute to like just put extra layers on because I'm just so busy, you know, doing awards and buses and finish line food and medals and everything that finally by around 5:30 or so after I get buses moving, I'm like, okay, I just really need a sweatshirt. I'm freezing. So it actually gets quite cold. So remember to bring that top, extra layer for once you finish.
That's
Okay.
a great, that is a great tip. That is a great tip.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, when Lori and I ran in Arizona, like the whole like thing about your nose, like that's like so for real. Like
I felt like I felt like
oh,
a kindergartner with a really bad cold. Like it was just like crusted all around
I
my
know. I,
nose
I
and
remember at
froze
some point in
sweat.
time, Lori, you were like, oh, honey, like we stopped for like water, and you were like, oh, honey, you
Oh,
need to,
you need
oh, your nose. I had no idea. I had no idea. I was like crusted over like a kindergartner. So, yeah, yeah. So those are great. Those are absolutely fantastic tips, Joyce. And actually, I really like your suggestion on the lip balm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely go and get one that that you don't twist and
Because
apply.
I definitely would have for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So we did talk about like a little bit before we started recording today that Mile 20 podcast, it kind of has a couple different meanings, between being the hard place of the race and how you're going to lean in, and also like that parallel with life. We like to ask all of our guests, like, has there ever been a Mile 20 moment, either in running shoes or out of running shoes? It could be personal or a race experience, but like, when you hit that Mile 20 moment, like how did you handle it? What got you through it? And how did you come out the other side?
Mhm. Oh gosh, how many could way too many to be honest.
Oh, I don't like that. No.
I mean, small business is hard. Small business is
Yes.
Yeah.
mile 20.
Yes, that's true. My husband owns a small business. We started a small business from scratch in 2012, and I've watched that process happen over the years. And I know, I feel you. I understand. Being an entrepreneur is something that's next level.
Hmm.
Mhm. I mean, the thing with it is I have a couple of different sayings. One of them is it's seldom my fault, but it's always my problem.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like, I mean, like for instance, when the little alien called and said they didn't want the race there, and they gave me like a week's notice, for in 2020. Okay, easy for them to just be like, yeah, this is what we want. Well, I
Hmm.
already have hundreds of people that have paid and bought tickets. Like, so somehow I have to figure something out. If volunteers are canceling, you have to somehow get those things covered. And um, we've had years that the bus went the completely wrong direction and
Oh,
ended up going
no.
toward Tonopah instead of Rachel. And I mean, but as those are all just like each race is going to have their little headaches, but every single one of them, no matter what it is, like we had a wildfire breakout in the middle, like during a race once, not at ET, running with the devil one year. A
Oh
forest
my
fire broke
gosh.
out from a guy doing illegal target shooting, so which is
Oh,
banned
wow.
in the area. But
Wow.
like whatever it is, like you have to
Hmm.
adjust. And it's always funny because people ask for, well, do you have your emergency action plan? Like it's part of these permit processes is to have an emergency action plan, which I think is so ridiculous because it's like, well, what kind of emergency are we talking about? Is it lightning strikes? Is it forest fires? Is it, you know, I don't know. Like it's just every emergency is different. So how do you have a plan? It's just having that wherewithal to digest the moment and take action immediately and deploy like the solution. So, but as far as like, man, the biggest mile 20 has got to be COVID. I mean,
Mm,
anyone that was, small businesses or,
yeah.
particularly in our type of space where it was mass participation events. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, how do you operate when you can't gather people when their
Hmm.
entire being is to gather people? So I know I think there's a lot of races that just never made it back. And,
Yeah.
some that were canceled for 2 and 3 years, it took them to finally be able to execute. I know different states were a little bit more strict, but um I just had to be super creative. And like you mentioned earlier, the you know, when you come up to the line, just go. You know, there wasn't like, it was kind of an open format starting to not gather. And then, you know, the process changed, and then all of a sudden there's this agency, and now there's like this 30-page COVID permit to get. So the process changed again. And I mean, we had times that it was, gathering limit was 50 people in Nevada for a while. So we had um different stages of the race where we would have literally maximum of 50 people, and they could run their race. They could leave. For whatever reason, they were requiring me to have a 3-hour window of nothing happening, and then another group of 50 could come in. So
Oh, wow.
I
Wow.
had races from Saturday at 7 a.m. until like Sunday at 3 p.m. in
Which
groups of 50
races?
at a time. And I think we had like 200 people all told. Like, it was just, I mean, I was just willing to do whatever it took to, I mean, I was literally fighting for my livelihood. And,
Yeah.
you know, I just, whatever it took. And I
Wow.
was, you
Wow.
know, questioning, well, why can this happen, but not that happen? And, you know, kind of just pushing the boundaries, but it was not the boundaries, but questioning, well, the logic behind certain things.
No, the
And
COVID logic was extremely illogical sometimes.
Well,
It's-
and it just, it was inconsistent. It was
yes.
right.
inconsistent, right, throughout. But Joyce, I just want to personally thank you
Yes.
for one, being a runner and being an advocate of other runners to still go and push to get those races happening in 2020. Because like Lori and I ran a couple of races before like the world shut down in the beginning of 2020. But then we were registered like early on for
Way
ET in the
before
beginning of the
COVID.
year, way
Yeah.
before COVID.
Oh,
Yeah.
So like we were like, do we go on a plane? Do we not go on a plane? Like, and like that's how like our whole like, let's go rent a pop-up trailer and drive 2,500 miles to go run your race. Right. So
thanks.
so seriously, Joyce, like we as runners, like so appreciate you and like all the other race directors, all the volunteers that got out there to keep us continuing to go across the start line, to keep us going across the finish line. Because like I don't know what our world would have been like had we not had that. You know, because you know, like you said, like you ran your first marathon and then you were looking for your next one and then you were looking for your next one, right? It's like this, you know, just this perpetual thing. And you helped create, at least for me personally, a sense of normalcy in August of 2020, when
Yeah.
I felt like the rest of the world was kind of like, we just didn't know. I was like, I had my race and I got across my start line and I got across my finish line. I got my shirt, I got my medal.
Yeah.
And not only that, but despite the weirdness, right, that was like 2020, you still were able, you and your volunteers were still able to go and create this culture, this finish line, like just environment where both Lori and I and our daughters were like super excited to like finish the race. And, you know, and like we had a vibe going, you know, with like everybody else that was there, even though like you couldn't like, you know, congregate the way you can today.
Mhm.
So whatever you did, whatever, you know, extra oomph you put into it, from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely thank you, because like
Yes.
those are some of the best freaking stories that Lori and I've ever had came from the freaking ET marathon in 2020.
Yeah. If we talk about like the most epic marathon we ever
ET,
did,
ET,
it's E.
ET
It's
2020.
100%. And
We
without
say,
your
make
like,
this shit up. Get up.
but like it's just thinking outside of the box and figuring out, okay, here are my parameters.
Oh,
How can I make this happen? I
yeah.
mean, it just, thank you. I agree with everything Laura said. Like it just meant the world to us to be able to still get out there and race.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So
Nice
we
It was
job.
have,
really
go
it
ahead.
was really interesting because you know, at that point I was in business 12 or 13 years.
Hmm.
And, you get to a point where, not to say it's a little bit of rinse and repeat and,
Hmm.
um, or old hat. Like I know what's expected of me, and this is, and you just kind of keep going. And it was an interesting gut check to see, like, do I still have that fight in me? And like it
Ah,
kind of reinvigorated like the fight and the passion of which like I built the business in 2007. Because like in that very beginning, like you're scrappy, like you're doing it all and you're, whatever it takes. And just, I mean, it kind of reignited that because it like threatened to take it away, and it just
yeah.
identifies how much you love it.
Well, thank you for fighting for it. Because
Yeah.
we greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. Joyce, before we finish the interview, we have a couple of rapid fire questions because we find
Okay.
that when we're interviewing folks, we you just learn a little bit more about people. When just one line answers. All right. So, first question is favorite marathon outside of Nevada.
Mm. Gosh,
It's a
I
tough
like
one.
them all
I
for
know.
different reasons.
I
I
know.
honestly, I mean,
All right,
I've
give
done
us,
like,
you could do two or three. It's okay. Top two or three.
so I really like, sort of random, the Kentucky Derby Marathon
Ah,
in Kentucky. Um, I just thought it was a really interesting uh display of the city. So Kentucky Derby, I thought was super cool. Um, what else? Gosh.
It is tough. I always think I'm like, how can you make me pick one? I can't pick one.
Yeah, another one that comes to mind would be, I mean, it's an ultra marathon called Comrades
ah.
in South Africa.
That keeps coming
Um,
around on my
I know it
radar.
keeps coming around, Lori.
Keeps coming around.
oh, people keep talking about Comrades to you?
Well, we've just interviewed Bart Yasso a couple weeks ago, and
I
he's
ran it
like,
the year Bart did.
yes. And so he's like, that was probably one of the most impactful marathons I've ever run. And now I'm sitting here going, swore I would never run an ultra. I'm like, what is the time cutoff for 56 miles?
Well, so interestingly, so I ran it the year it was 2010 that Bart Yasso ran it, and he has the Lyme disease. So,
Mm.
Yeah.
um, so we finished. It was a downhill year where they finished in the stadium, and it was also the year that the World Cup was in Durban. So
Oh,
the city was just insane. Like everybody's out. Like what a spectacle. But their cutoff is full on, like it's full stop. So when you
yeah.
finish in the stadium, you enter the stadium and then you make this big lap around, and they've got this huge clock counting down like the seconds. And like you see people like hurling their bodies across the line just to make it, because literally 1 second and you're just DNF. Like if you're over,
Wow.
you're
Yeah.
DNF.
Wow.
And we were all kind of concerned about Bart. And so the whole group of us that were all racing together came back, and I mean, just tears in your eyes, like watching him come into the stadium. He had plenty of time, and it was just super, super special. And
Oh my
the
gosh.
coolest part is they've got like 20,000, 25,000 athletes doing, it's got to be like the largest ultra marathon in the world. I don't know for certain, but I mean, from an organizer's standpoint, I think the coolest part is that they support it like a marathon. So you've got this 56-mile point to point race, but there's these full aid stations all along the way, and these 20,000 people. It's like a rite of passage for youth in South Africa. It's just super special.
Oh
And
my
it is
gosh.
coming up. 2027 is their 100th year.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible. Bart shared with us a song that they sing at the beginning of that race, Shosholoza, and
Yep.
Lori and I now have that on our running playlist. So we played that our last marathon. We ran a couple weeks, actually last weekend. Shit, last weekend, Lori.
Yep. So I
Yeah.
actually I had found out about that as well, and so I learned it. I learned all the words, and so it was like
Oh,
the coolest time to to be at the start line
I can't
in Peter
imagine.
Maritzburg and like to know how to sing along with it. So funny enough, I'm actually doing I don't know if you've heard of the World Marathon Challenge, um, but it's
Like
the seven.
the Abbott, like the Abbott,
No, so that's different. So that's the World Marathon Majors.
right?
So the World Marathon Challenge is 7 marathons in 7 days
Oh,
on
you're
7 continents.
doing the 777. Gotcha, gotcha.
Yes.
Yes,
So day two, we gather in Cape Town, and then the day two is in Cape Town. Like, so Antarctica is the first day, second day is Cape Town. So I have this on my playlist as well. So I'm trying to like compile my little like list for when we're racing in Africa. So Shosholoza is definitely on that. So,
I
oh my
absolutely love
gosh.
that.
When are you doing that? This is
I
not
know.
rapid fire anymore, by the
I
way.
know. I
sorry.
know. I know. Like, when are you doing that?
It's January, so
Oh,
I will direct the Red Rock Canyon Marathon on January 23rd, and on the 25th, my butt will be on a flight to Cape Town for the World Marathon Challenge on the
all right,
30th of
Joyce,
January.
I'm putting that in my to-do list. And I will drop you a note and wish you the all the best for that. Because
Oh, thank you.
that is absolutely Lori and I we did a double once.
Once.
so so doing 7 in 7 days and then all the logistics and everything. Woof, girl, that's absolutely incredible.
That
Absolutely
is
incredible.
incredible.
Yep.
And that's like,
Thank
I feel
you.
like we need to have a whole nother episode because I want to talk to you about training, like about that, but we'll do that. We'll do that offline in a minute. Okay. I'm going to keep going with the rapid fire. Sunrise run or midnight run?
Midnight. I am not a morning person.
Nice.
All right. Road, trail, or desert dirt road run.
I'm kind of a pavement girl.
Ah, really? I would
Yeah,
not
I
have
mean,
guessed that.
I'll do the trail or the dirt, but I don't know. My roots are kind of just pavement.
All right.
So,
All right. So cement or asphalt?
oh, asphalt,
Okay.
100%.
Yes. There we go. Okay.
All
Good
right.
answer.
Favorite post race meal?
Post race, I generally will have like some sort of red meat afterwards because I'm cutting it out kind of like the week before. And I don't know. I don't know if there's any nutritional like research to it, but I feel like, oh, I probably need some extra iron. So probably a steak or a hamburger afterwards.
Mhm.
Yep.
What's your favorite like gear that you run with? Favorite piece of gear?
Um, Headphones, like just
Uh
I like to have the music. When I train, I listen to it straight from the beginning, but in a race, it's kind of my carrot. So I try to wait until mile 20 before I turn the music on just to give myself that little extra push.
oh wow, that's interesting. Lori, tell Joyce about our curated playlist. We're a little different.
Yeah, so we do a beginning to end playlist. We used to back and this is before we got started into this before there was like share listening, through
Mhm.
Spotify. So we've already got the habit of wearing a speaker, which I know can be a no-no for some people. They hate listening to other people's music. But we have a curated playlist that starts and goes for hours. It starts really slow and builds in tempo as it goes. But we also find like the corniest songs that you can find for each state or city that we're running
Mhm.
in. So, like, we'll probably have like Viva Las Vegas. And then we also have like Katy Perry's, extraterrestrial and all that kind of stuff for Nevada. But
Perfect. Seems
yeah,
appropriate.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
the best song that Lori and I had when we did ET back in 2020 is because we are the back of the Packers, right? We're slower runners. And it was Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now. And we're like, I
But
think I
are
did
you? I don't think
like
you are alone.
I don't know. Like that's
Yes. Mm.
I
as an
love it.
ET comes across the screen.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's
It
so
might
funny.
just be a cow, but
That was actually really funny. I remember when we did ET and it's so quiet in the desert. Like you don't even hear bugs. But man, like do you remember, Lori? We heard that one
Yes.
cow. Aw. We were like, what the hell was that? We're like, it was a cow. Okay.
And we were also running, and we had gotten past I think I could just sleep and my legs would keep moving at this point. Like we got through that part of the race and we're looking, I'm like, oh, look, is that a city like, I feel like there's a city over there. And then we realized, no, in fact, that's the sunrise. Like there was no city. We were
yeah.
seeing lights, but it was not, no, it was sunrise.
So if the back of the pack actually gets some of like the coolest weather because like the neatest weather because you're starting at midnight, but then it just gets darker and darker. Like you get more and more stars that come out. I hear so many people saying how many shooting stars that they see. I
Oh,
never see them because
yes.
I'm working the whole thing, but
Yep.
lots of shooting stars. But people always say that the best part is when the sun starts to come up. And
Hmm.
it's
Yes.
this aspect of the race that really only like the backer, the slower of the pack gets to see. But people say it's like the most special time is when like you start to see the sunrise and
It was
It was
cool.
heck, if you're
beautiful.
It
right at
was really,
cutoff,
really
you
cool.
got daylight,
Yeah. No, it was really, 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 really cool.
No, but then we were thinking, oh my God, the demon in the sky is coming. Hurry up and finish before it starts sucking us dry. Oh, anyhow. Well, we don't want to. Is there anything you'd like to pass on for people who might be running or future running or anything that you would like to say about the ET or any of the Calico racing events?
Yeah, just come join us and try it out. I mean, we're definitely we're a smaller mom and pop, mom only, I guess, organization. But I've done I'm closing in on 200 marathons, so I'll finish my 200th in that the marathon challenge in
Oh,
January.
that's awesome.
So, I mean, I am creating the races from a runner's perspective. So, there's certain races that are more about like the pomp and circumstance and like the Instagram posts and, all of the, um, just the quick and easy social media blasts to make it look spectacular. And to say that I'm not concerned about that, but first and foremost is like I want the running experience to be the best, not the photo that you can post afterwards. So like just really wanting to take care of the runners during their race. Because
And
it's just what I would want as the runner. So
y- yes, and thank you for that. It's clear because I feel like the pictures will come regardless. Like you're putting on a very unique
Mhm.
experience, so the pictures come, but people don't want to come back and don't want to post about it if they've had a terrible experience, but you don't provide that. You provide a top rate experience, so much so that we're coming out and doing it a second time. So
thank you. Oh, that's awesome. It's so wonderful to have you guys back. You'll definitely
Oh,
have to
thank
come
you.
come say hello, find me in the chaos on race night.
We will find you. We will find you,
we
Joyce.
will wait
And
until there's
yes,
a little bit of a lull. I promise we won't accost you in the middle of
yes.
like whatever if it looks chaotic.
Yeah.
We will wait until you look like it's a little calmer.
Yeah, it's definitely not our jam. But Joyce, thank you so incredibly much because we know your time is extremely valuable. But thank you for
Thank you.
sharing some of the insider secrets about ET, but then also, just how you got this whole thing started. And again, just want to reiterate, just how much we appreciate you and just keeping us at the start line.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you so much, Joyce. It was so
Bye.
nice to meet
Thanks,
you.
Joyce. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. I absolutely love talking to Joyce, Lori.
It was funny kind of rekindling the feelings I had about running that race in 2020. And then it's a full circle moment being able to express the appreciation I have for actually running it.
I totally agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree. And I
I almost got a little emotional.
yeah, and because I think you said it best that when we think about like the epic marathon in our Oh my gosh, we've been running together since 2014. The epic marathon was ET,
Yeah.
and for a multitude of different reasons, but knowing kind of like what Joyce and her crew went through, right? Like kind of at the nth hour, it's like, man, I didn't even feel that as a runner, you
No,
know?
not at all. Like I thought
So
that the course that we did was the course all along. I had no idea it was just
yeah,
a one and done course.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
really interesting.
So, and all the communications, I mean, nothing, we did not feel anything, right, in terms of, any blips on the radar. So,
No.
and never even like questioned, should we drive out there? Are they really putting on this race? I mean, it was like, no, we are a go. And so yeah, greatly, greatly appreciate her. And I love it that she's been doing it for like 20 years, right? And
Yeah.
man, I would love to have her back to talk about the 7, 7, and 7. Like that's just the freaking bomb. Because I know you've talked about it.
I have. To me, that is like the pinnacle race of all races is to be able to do 777,
Well, that's
seven
not a race.
continent.
That's 7 races, my
Right,
friend.
right. 7 marathons, 7 continents, 7 days. Just for those who don't know, that's what the World Marathon Challenge is. And it's private jets and it's curated, races that, fit into this schedule. And it is also like over 20 grand. I don't know, 35, 36 grand, I think, to do those
I don't know.
races.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Unless you
it's it's
figure
it's
out
a lot of money.
sponsorship.
It's a
Yeah,
lot of money. It's a lot of
it's a
money.
lot.
So yeah, so I would love to get Joyce back after she finishes that and get her perspective on that because she would be the first person that we would talk to that that gives us perspective, especially from a woman,
Yeah,
a
I,
female runner's perspective. So
100% I agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So next week, gonna go kind of go back because I know we've been doing, a couple of interviews here, in between, doing our Mad Marathon in Cedar Rapids. Next week, we are going to recap the Little Rock, Arkansas marathon that we did a couple of years ago. We are actually going to run Little Rock again in 2027, but we're going to give our perspective of what the race was like, a couple of years ago. Big ass fucking medals. That's all I have to say about that race.
Yeah, Texas always says things are big in Texas, but I'm
Oh
sorry,
no, they're bigger. They're
Arkansas's
bigger.
got a way
Yeah.
bigger dick as far as the medal goes. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
So and I'm looking right now because again for our listeners we're on Instagram and Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we do video record every episode. I am sitting outside on a table in a parking lot, because
She's in the
I
pitch black.
I am in the pitch black, but I feel like I am from like a Queen video, like where they're like, I'm just a silhouette. Yeah, I
Yes,
feel
because
like
I
I'm a
only see
floating
like a
head.
quarter of your face right now.
I feel like I'm a floating head right now. So,
Yeah.
anywho, Lori and I are going to talk about Little Rock next week. The following week, we will be out in Nevada running ET, and we'll be doing the recap of that race. But for now, you need to go make mile 20 your bitch this week.
Peace out.